go. Burst of speed.
Heisman Memorial Trophy.
Bryce Young.
Roll Tide, everybody, and welcome to the Crimson Tide production studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium for another episode of Tide TV This Week. I'm Seth Payne, joined by my co-host, Kinsey Hughes. Roll Tide, Kinsey. You know, the students are back on campus, classes are in session, and Alabama basketball, they're handing out lessons of their own.
They absolutely are, and I'm 2 cups of coffee deep, so let's just get right into it. It was an absolutely incredible atmosphere.
Yes, it was.
Saturday afternoon in Tuscaloosa. A sold-out crowd and nationally televised on ESPN. Audiences both at home and on hand inside Coleman got to see one of the biggest wins by the Crimson Tide over an SEC team in program history.
A huge win. The game featured the top 2 scorers in the SEC in Alabama's Brandon Miller and LSU's KJ Williams, but it was the Tide's Miller that stole the show. The Crimson Tide jumped on the Tigers early. Brandon Miller would knock down a couple of 3-pointers in the opening minutes, and another from Mark Sears would give Alabama an 11-3 lead. But after a couple of threes from LSU, the Tide led 13-9 with just over 15 minutes to go in the half. From there, the Crimson Tide went on an unbelievable run. They would outscore the Tigers 36-6
Good
to
Lord.
lead 49-15. Brandon Miller led the Tide with 22 first-half points as Miller connected on 8 of 11 from the field and 6 of 9 from beyond the arc.
That man's got the hot hand for sure, but check this out. Tide's biggest lead of the half came from that. Final shot, check out Jaden Bradley from half court. He nails the shot at the buzzer, and it was unbelievable. Everything's going right for the Tide in the first half. Bradley's half-court buzzer beater gave Alabama their largest lead of the half as the Tide led by 37 at the break, 59-22.
Great shot, but more domination was on the way in the second half. Alabama's biggest lead of the game would come on senior walk-on Adam Cottrell's first career three-pointer.
Let it fly, my man!
That's right. 1:39 to go in the game. Coleman would erupt as Cottrell's 3 gave Alabama a 45-point lead at 104-59. The Tide thoroughly dominated the Tigers in Coleman Coliseum as Alabama defeated LSU 106-66.
Challenged our guys before the game to, make sure they were ready to go out of the gate. We needed to play harder than them. I thought our rebounding to start the game was outstanding. At one point early in the game, the second chance points were 18-3. So, we obviously hit a lot of threes. We didn't even shoot that great, really. We took a lot of them, but a lot of them came on old board. So, really, our defense in the first half, our offensive rebounding, a lot of effort stuff, that's where I was most happy with. That's what we told our guys our focus was going to be on. Like, the offense will take care of itself, and we'll, let's make sure we play harder. The blue-collar points that we charted, we had them doubled on the game, so I think it was 102-51. So we were trying to focus on those areas and then not turn the ball over, and I think our offense takes care of itself when we do that, and it took care of itself tonight.
The 40-point margin was Alabama's largest win over LSU in school history. Brandon Miller had one of the best all-around games of his short career as he had game highs in both points and rebounds. Miller finished with 31 points and 9 rebounds on 11 of 16 from the floor, and he was 7 of 11 from beyond the arc.
He had a great start of the season for him, but Mark Sears, Rylan Griffin, and Javon Quinterly would all finish with 12 points, while Nick Pringle added 10 to give Alabama 5 players in double digits.
A lot of help from all around the floor.
Oh yeah, and with that big performance in the Tide's record-setting win over LSU, Brandon Miller was named the SEC Freshman of the Week for the 3rd week in a row.
Good Lord.
5th time this season. Miller leads the SEC in scoring at over 20 points per game and is 3rd in rebounds, averaging over 8 per game. Miller is also the only player in the SEC to shoot over 40% from beyond the arc. He's currently connecting at a ridiculous 46% from range.
I mean, at this point, they got to just name it after him, right?
Right.
And with wins over number 16 Arkansas and LSU, Coach Oates and the Tide remained at number 4 this week in the Associated Press Top 25. The Tide received 6 second-place votes. The top 4 remain the same in the Associated Press as it did in the coaches.
But the Tide would pick up their first place vote of the season in this week's Coaches Top 25 poll. Alabama is still the only team with a win over #1 Houston, as the Tide defeated them on the Cougars' own home court 71-65 back on December 10th.
Crazy atmosphere then, too. I remember that one.
Yes, it was. Now, for their midweek game, the 4th-ranked Crimson Tide traveled to Nashville to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores on Tuesday.
They absolutely did, and playing in front of his hometown fans and a lot of Crimson Tide fans, Brandon Miller wasted absolutely zero time, giving him something to cheer about.
That's right.
Up 2-0, Jaden Bradley took the rebound off the Vanderbilt miss, threw it ahead to Miller, and check it out, Seth.
Oh.
Boom shakalaka, he is on fire.
Watch your head.
I know, it's bringing back the old NBA Jam vibes. What a dunk. Trailing by 1 at 22-21, the Tide used a 12-0 run to take an 11-point lead, 33-22, as Alabama led by 10 at the break, 36-26.
Now, Alabama opened the second half with a 17-4 run over the first 8+ minutes for their biggest lead of the game at 23 points, 53-30, but the Commodores did not give up. Vandy cut the lead to just 6 points at 68-62 with 43 seconds remaining, but Brandon Miller and Noah Clowney would clinch things for the Tide. Alabama hangs on for the 12-point win, 78-66.
I thought our guys really played hard, played well, played together for large parts of the game. You know, in light of the circumstances we were under, I'm really proud of, you know, the mental toughness that some of our guys showed. I think we did a pretty good job getting the group together. They did a good job getting themselves together. Had a really good practice yesterday, had a good walkthrough today, and came out here and opened the game well, built up a lead. You know, it would have been nice if we didn't give up the few runs we gave them to make it close. But despite of what we've gone through, I think our guys played really well tonight.
It was the Tide's 4th consecutive win over the Commodores in Memorial Gymnasium. And guess who? Brandon Miller also recorded his 4th double-double of the season as he finished with a game-high 30 points and 10 rebounds.
Oh, just 30 points. What a shame. Jaden Bradley and Noah Gurley were the Tide's other double-digit scorers as they both finished with 12 points each. Noah Clowney also had a solid game as he finished with 7 points and 8 rebounds. Now, with the win, Alabama improved to 16-2 overall and a perfect 6-0 in conference play. They become just the 4th SEC team in the last 50 years to start SEC play 6-0.
And they're in great company with that stat. But this weekend, the Tide is on the road once again as they travel to Columbia to take on the Missouri Tigers. Tip-off is set for 5 p.m. on the SEC Network. The Alabama women's basketball team has gotten off to a hot start, but the Tide would have one of its toughest tests of the season this past Sunday against the Ole Miss Rebels. We'll have the highlights and hear from Coach Curry coming up next.
TideTV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
Players play, tough players win championships. If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game. Okay? You play harder than them, you win the game.
Roll, Tide, roll is exactly doing that. It's hard to hear yourself in here.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, go.
Right again, play up, play up.
We need a huge crowd to pack Coleman Coliseum.
Davis with the spin on the layup.
Right to the basket, lays it up, lays it in despite the contact.
You better hush your mouth, girl. Stop it, Brittany.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. We are sticking with basketball. After defeating Auburn at Auburn by 31, the Alabama women's basketball team returned to action this past Sunday as the Tide traveled to Oxford to take on the Ole Miss Rebels.
You know, I love to talk about a hooper now.
Oh, yeah.
Going into the matchup, the Rebels were 16-2 overall, perfect 5-0 in SEC play, and undefeated at home this season at 10-0. And for the Tide, they were without their 2 leading scorers, and Brittany Davis and Megan Abrams, who were out due to injuries in the win over Auburn.
Yeah, tough sledding there, but Sarah Ashley Barker would put the Tide up 4-2 early with a 3-point play the old-fashioned way. way, hooping the harm, but the Rebels closed out the first period on a 15-5 run as the Rebels led 17-9 after the first 10 minutes of play. 7 straight points by Sarah Ashley Barker in the second made it a 4-point game at 22-18 with just under 5 to go in the half, but Ole Miss held on to a slim 2-point lead at the half, 27-25.
With Ole Miss up 30-25 early in the third, Alabama used an 11-0 run for their first lead since the opening minutes of the game. In the fourth, up 7 with just under 6 minutes to play, Sarah Ashley Parker drains it from beyond the arc to give Alabama the 10-point lead, 50-40. Hannah Barber knocked down 4 consecutive free throws in the final seconds as the Tide held on to give the Rebels their first home loss and SEC loss of the season, with 63-58 win.
Just really special win today when we were faced with adversity. Just amazing toughness. That was the difference in the game, was just the toughness of getting stops and, you know, critical boards and then being able to make a few free throws, but just big plays all night long. I just thought our kids just showed a lot of grittiness of sticking to the game plan. So couldn't be prouder. I won't enjoy this till midnight, but we'll hit the reset button. But just a huge resume win for us on the road again without our 2 leading scorers.
With Alabama's 2 leading scorers out, the Tide had 3 who would step up and score in double figures. Sarah Ashley Barker led the Tide with 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, stuff in the stat sheet.
A true team win, too, because Loyal McQueen added 14 points to go along with 3 boards, 3 assists, and 2 steals, while Jada Rice recorded an 11-point, 11-rebound double-double. Rice also added 3 blocks in the win.
Showing some post presence. Now the win improved Alabama's record to 14-4 overall and 3-2 in SEC play.
That's right, and it was a huge win for Christy Curry's squad, handing Ole Miss just their 3rd loss of the season. Let's go all access with Coach Curry and the Tide for their win over the Rebels.
You will stick to the plan. You will do the things we've asked you to do.
Compete. Do not let them play hard.
Let's play smart. Let's play together. Let's go.
The Alabama Crimson Tide back on the road. It's another Sunday away from Tuscaloosa as we get set for the Alabama Crimson Tide against the Ole Miss Rebels. Spins around the paint, throws it up left side, layup up, layup in, count it, she's fouled. Baseball pass over the timeline, McQueen chases it down, fast break, left side, layup is good. That was perfect from Sarah Ashley.
They've done a great job.
Cobbins, as the shot clock was winding down, buries it.
Going back to Barker, top of the key, catch and release, 3-pointer is good. Sarah Ashley Barker, down the left side lane, left corner Barber, a 3-pointer up, a 3-pointer in. Hannah from Homewood with a 3-pointer, down the left side lane, layup up, layup in. Excellent moves, Loyal McQueen. Corner Nye, catch and release, 3-pointer is good. Aaliyah Nye buries the 3, through contact to the left block, throws it up, makes it home. And right side layup, got it. Bama's in front. Left side lane, throws it up, throws it in, count it, she's fouled. Alabama up 4, a chance for 5 at the free throw line for Ryan Cobbins.
Queen open for the long 2 and buries it with Baker in her face.
Left side lane, throws it up, off the window, banks in. Loyal McQueen's got 14.
Barber had the double team on her. Barker. Oh, what a 3! Are you kidding me?
Wide open, left wing 3. Switch! Aaliyah Nye with a 3-pointer. Alabama thinking about to see some wrong stuff. Baseball pass over the timeline. 1 bounce to Nye. She's got it. Right side layup good. Today's final score, Alabama 63, Ole Miss 58.
Our fight was tremendous, and if we can continue that moving forward, that will become the identity of this basketball team.
To have the adversity, to step up and just make play after play and to stay together, just a tremendous team effort. Just a huge team effort.
Tide TV This Week is presented by Ford. For great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
Players play, tough players win championships. If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game. Okay, if you play harder than them, you win the game.
Roll is exactly doing that. It's hard to hear yourself in here.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness!
How about some
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. The 8th-ranked Crimson Tide Gymnastics team hit the road for the first time this season as the Tide took on the 16th-ranked Razorbacks in Fayetteville this past Friday night.
Yeah, and heading into the matchup, both teams were undefeated, with Alabama picking up a season-opening win over Michigan State, while Arkansas knocked off Nebraska to open their season. Now the Crimson Tide began the meet on the uneven bars, led by a 9-9 from Luisa Blanco and a 9-8-7-5 from Jordan Paradise. Blanco's 9-9 was the highest score of the meet for the Tide. Now on vault, Blanco and Paradise led the Tide again with matching scores of 9-8-2-5 for a team total of 49-0.
You can do that, right, Seth? I feel like you can handle that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Alabama followed that up with another 4-9-0 as teams core on the floor exercise. Blanco and freshman Gabby Gladio led the Tide on floor with a matching 9-8-7-5s. Alabama closed out the meet with a 4-9-2-2-5 on balance beam, led by a pair of 9-8-7-5s from Gladio and Lily Hudson. Ella Burgess and freshman Lillian Lewis both made their first appearances of the season on beam, as Lewis scored a 9-7-7-5 and Burgess finished with a 9-8-5-0.
That all added up to a win for the Crimson Tide as 8th-ranked Alabama defeated number 16 Arkansas by a full point, 196-525 to 195-525 on the road in Fayetteville. And in the Tide's big road win, freshman Gabby Gladio had a huge performance. Gladio finished second on both the balance beam and floor exercise with matching 9-8-7-5s. Gladio is currently the highest-ranked freshman and 11th overall in the SEC in floor exercise.
Sounds like a true diaper dandy if you're
Absolutely.
talking about me. Congratulations to Gladio and the Gym Tide as Alabama starts the Ashley Johnston era with a 2-0 record.
Yeah, let's take an all-access look at the 8th-ranked Tide's big win over the 16th-ranked Razorbacks.
Says Arkansas entertains Alabama with the Razorbacks and the Crimson Tide both looking to remain unbeaten early in this new season.
Great competitor, just beautiful to watch from start to finish. Practice is paying off, and she knows it. Beautiful. It's going to be a big number.
And sticks that landing.
Beautiful landing. Oh my gosh. Perfect stop.
Try it again. Play up up. Play up in.
We need a huge crowd to Pat Coleman Coliseum.
Davis with the spin on the layup.
Right to the basket, lays it up, lays it in despite the contact.
You better hush your mouth, girl.
Stop it, Brittany.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. Alabama men's and women's tennis teams kicked off their spring schedules this past weekend here in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, the men hosted a doubleheader on Saturday against Sanford and Mercer, while the women hosted Navy on Sunday. George Cusack's squad won both matches. In the first match, after winning the doubles point, the Tide swept all 6 singles matches for the 7-0 win over the Sanford Bulldogs. In the second match against Mercer, Alabama jumped out to a 1-0 win, once again winning the doubles point. The Tide went on to win 5 of the 6 singles matches as the Tide swept the doubleheader with a 6-1 win over Mercer.
Love a Crimson Tide win. And how about the women's tennis team? They opened their season on Sunday morning against Navy. Just like the men, the women opened their match winning the doubles point for the 1-0 lead. Jenny Main's squad took 5 out of the 6 singles matches as the Tide rolled 6-1 win over Navy in their season opener. A successful open to the season for the Alabama men's and women's tennis programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And this weekend, both teams will be back in action here in Tuscaloosa as the women host Memphis on Saturday at noon, while the men host another doubleheader on Sunday against UAB at 11 and UT Chattanooga at 4.
And what about the swimming team? Swimming and diving hosted a 2-day tri-meet this past weekend as the Tide hosted Ohio State and Texas.
Yeah, the Crimson Tide honored 11 seniors and 6 graduate students in the Tide's final home competition of the season. On the women's side, it was a battle between 3 of the top 6 teams in the country. The 6th-ranked Tide lost to both number 2 Texas and number 6 Ohio State.
On the men's side, the 14th-ranked Tide lost to both number 2 Texas and number 13 Ohio State. Stay with us. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming up next in just 90 seconds right here on Tide TV This Week.
How about some noise at the Rhodes House? Sliding in around the tag is Dowling. Ashley Prangy.
And Alabama takes the lead. That's well hit to center. Montana Fouts got her.
Jenna Johnson. Perfectly executed.
She's looking for more. That's gone. Alabama answers right back to grab the lead.
Great competitor, just beautiful to watch from start to finish. Practice is paying off, and she knows it. Beautiful. It's going to be a big number.
And sticks that landing.
Beautiful landing. Oh my gosh. Perfect stop.
Jaden on the drive. Miller, why not?
There may not be a better freshman in all of college basketball. Brandon Miller.
Brandon will drive, gets to the base, little teardrop. No.
My goodness. Barber had the double team on her. Barker. Oh, what a 3! Are you kidding me? Cobbins going to work in the lane. And 1.
Will work at the Cottrell far side. 3. Bottom. Oh, do it, baby. Adam Cottrell.
And there's the dismount, and she spots it, and bam. That's going to be a good score.
2 seconds. 1. Let's fly from midcourt at the buzzer. And of course, he makes it in. 1.
Pass up ahead to Brandon Miller. Welcome home.
Goes in and throws it home. What a move. Brandon Miller, the flush.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. So those were our ATI Plays of the Week. Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week brought to you by Legacy of Hope. Starting off, Brandon Miller scored 31 points and had 9 rebounds in the Tide's 40-point win over LSU this past Saturday. Then, on Tuesday night, Miller had a double-double in the win over Vanderbilt as Miller finished with 30 points and 10 rebounds in the Tide's 78-66 win over the Commodores.
He's kind of good, huh?
I guess so.
In Sunday's big win over Ole Miss, Sarah Ashley Barker stepped up and led the Tide in scoring for the first time this season. Barker's 16 points was a season high, as she also finished with 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, and 2 steals.
Another Barker at Bama filling up the stat sheet, but how about Jada Rice? She had her first double-double of the season as she had 11 points and 11 rebounds in the Tide's 63-58 win over Ole Miss.
Post presence starting to show, but the 8th-ranked gymnastics team had a big road win over number 16 Arkansas. Luisa Blanco led the Tide with a 9-9 on the uneven bars. She also led for the team high on vault and floor.
That's a pretty flippin' big deal. Gabby Gladio also tied for the team high on beam and floor. Gladio is currently the highest ranked freshman and number 11 overall in the SEC in the floor exercise.
Pretty impressive.
Absolutely. Congrats to her and all of our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week.
Yeah, a lot of great performances from those 5. We could have selected even more, honestly, from the past week.
Oh, 100%. That hook shot from half court, come on now, man.
Oh, yeah, it reminded me of MJ with the fist pump.
Right? It gave me that Kareem, the hook from way back in the day,
hook.
but, you know, much deeper. But some great dunks, too, were included in that.
Oh, definitely.
Hey, thanks for watching this week's episode. Hopefully, lots of more plays like that coming up.
That's right. We hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to seeing you back here next week for another episode of Tide TV This Week. See you next week, and Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,